I think the weirdest bathroom situation I've ever been in was when I was at the Greyhound bus station in, where was it? I want to say it was St. Louis. It was before they built the new one. It was at the old one in that really old building.
Yeah.
And I had to pee so fucking bad. So I went to the bathroom. First stall I went into, toilet was full of poop and toilet paper. And there was a dental dam sitting on the edge of the seat. Second one I went into, there was a bunch of half-eaten chicken legs sitting on the back of the toilet.
God, Jesus.
I chose the one with the chicken legs, honestly, just because it was the least offensive-looking one out of all of them. And there had to have been like a dozen fucking stalls in there. But yeah, I just kind of had to hover and like pray that I didn't trip and touch anything.
God.
And
that's pretty much any punk venue bathroom that I've ever seen, if they even have toilet seats at all. Some of them have like the toilet seat set off to the side and like, you know, kind of kept separate from the general disarray of whatever goes into the toilet. And, you know, I can tell someone just kind of sets it down, sits on it, or people just hover. It's pretty fucking gross.
Yeah, it's also a great place for graffiti. But yeah.
I think the grossest toilet situation that I ever dealt with was an outhouse. Like, we were up with Lakota up in Rosebud, South Dakota. Mm-hmm. This was, like, way out in the middle of nowhere. There was no plumbing out there. There was no plumbing at all. And we had to, like, drive, like, about maybe, like, 35 minutes into like a really small town called Mission to use like the well. They had like a little pump like on the street corner.
You couldn't just dig a hole?
No, I mean, well, there was like this pump. We could just take buckets and stuff and use this pump to get all the water. But no, we didn't use any of the water for like the toilet because it was just a big fucking like wooden shed that did not have a roof.
Oh, shit.
And it just had like the shape of the state of Oklahoma taken out of like the door. And it had like a little spring, but it was...
Oh, so like the old-timey outhouses where it has like a crescent moon shape cut out of the door. But it was the state of Oklahoma?
Yeah, it was just Oklahoma.
Damn, that is rugged.
It was.
What if it rained?
Oh, man. I mean, it did rain. It fucking stormed. It got wild out there.
And you pooped in the middle of that?
We pooped in that. And it was precarious, too, because there was a huge hole. There was like a 12-foot drop from like the surface down to the bottom of this pit.
Fuck?
And then there was like years, like probably a decade's worth of piles of like poop, toilet paper, lime, and dirt. You know, like lime that weird.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
So there was like just like a little big old spoon and lime. You had to pour it all over there. So it was just like, I don't know, man. It had been there for a while. And you're supposed to like, you know, cover it up and change it. But I don't know if anyone ever covered it up with dirt and dug a new hole. I don't know. I went there like 3 or 4 years and it was that same outhouse.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly, and then there were wasps. There were fucking wasps. So like you're sitting there trying to dookie.
I don't want to hear about it. No. That's like the number one reason I don't like using porta potties and shit is because fucking wasps get up in there.
It's fucking scary.
I don't even care about the stink. I can hold my breath. But if there's a wasp nest in there, or if one just got in there and is like chilling, especially if it's really hot outside and you know they're just real fucking angry.
Fuck that.
And I'm just sitting there trying to pee or something, and then I got this wasp in my face. Fuck no, dude. I'd rather hold it.
No, I think like the worst public restroom situations. I worked at Netflix, and there was this guy. I narrowed it down to this one fucking dude that was pissing all over the seats. He wouldn't use the urinal. He would intentionally go to like a stall and just piss on everything.
My brother used to pee all over the toilet seat all the time.
Because
like when I was younger, I used to hear like the old fucking joke of like, oh, the man left the toilet seat up and the lady fell in. Her. But no, I didn't have that problem. He wouldn't even bother lifting up the toilet seat. He would just piss all over it.
God.
And then I'd go in there not thinking about it and then sit in his piss and get so fucking mad as a fucking wasp at an outhouse. But there was that one time when I was working at the Pizza Hut call center.
Yeah.
Which, God, that's a whole other fucking story. But, like, somebody there had been pissing into the bucket that they had in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That they kept the plunger in.
Ugh.
Yeah, and for weeks this had been going on. Somebody had just been, like, filling up this bucket with piss.
Oh, God.
Why the fuck does one of the managers think it's a good idea to one day go in there with a bottle of bleach and pour a bunch of bleach into that piss bucket?
So they, like, fucking gassed you. That's fucking mustard gas.
Yeah, because the piss has a bunch of ammonia in it, and if you mix ammonia and chlorine that's in the bleach...
It's gonna make fucking mustard gas.
And then... he leaves and closes the door and just lets the bathroom fill up with this toxic ass gas. Half an hour later, I gotta pee.
Oh, God.
I walk in there.
And get fucking...
I close the door. Not even in there for like 15 seconds. And my eyes start burning and tearing up and my throat starts burning and I'm coughing and I'm like, what the fuck's going on in here? And I like open the door and run out and I'm like, oh, there's something's going on in that bathroom, man. Something smells real weird. And yeah, eventually, like I guess the manager who had poured the bleach into that bucket was like, oh, I was just in there. I put some bleach in that bucket that's real gross. And I heard him say that and I was like, you fucking idiot. You can't do that. What the how are you in a position of authority?
Oh, God.
I got a free like hour and a half long break out of that though, so
All right,
not a total loss. I got to sit outside in the smoking area and, you know, inhale those fumes while I was recovering from that other shit.
Gross.
So, lucky me, I guess.
Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx.
My name is Matt, and I think that bidets are better than toilet paper.
My name is Sabrina, and I concur. You should be washing your ass.
And
this is
Prissy Butts.
This is Sumo Punx. Prissy butts. You mean fancy fannies?
God, it's like imagine trying to wipe the frosting off of a cake with like a McDonald's
Oh,
napkin.
Jesus. Oh, God. Did I ever tell you about, like, when I was a kid, like, discovering the skid marks in my dad's tidy whities for the first time? It was, I was a kid. I didn't know that wasn't, like, supposed to be there. I was just like, oh, I guess when everybody grows up, they're just going to have this, like, brown stripe in their underwear.
It's their burden to bear. Those poor grown-ups.
He was a very hairy man, though, so I can imagine what the issue was there. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you got poop on your arm,
Yeah.
would you just wipe it off with a paper towel?
No.
You would wash that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, in other countries, like, bidets are a lot more common. The U.S. is way behind the times. Anyway. On this episode of Sumo Punx, we are going to talk about more than just poop. We actually have some stuff to discuss about the World Games, which happened this past weekend. And we're also going to talk about days 1 through 5 of the Nagoya Basho. We have a bit of a new format that we're playing around with for our Basho coverage. We're going to do it in 5-day increments this time, see how that goes. We are also doing a brand new award ceremony on the last episode of our Basho coverage. We've got a few ideas for some different awards we want to hand out to the different rikishi, like
Just totally ridiculous.
worst Yoji calls. Oh no, there was one that I came up with called the Crowd Crasher Award.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure someone like Ura or someone's gonna end up getting.
Oh God, I can't remember who it was, but somebody got hurled into their own oyakata. So they might win that. Find out who.
Some other less silly ones like Rarest Kamari Te. So if you guys have any ideas for some awards that we should bestow upon the competitors in the Nagoya Basho, please let us know.
It's just going to be like us, just, we're not going to actually send them anything. I don't
No.
have any of their addresses.
I mean, honestly, we're probably just going to make a Twitter post or something about it. It's like, these are the awards. I don't even think we're going to tag them, like, just out of embarrassment. All right, let's go ahead and start talking about the 2022 World Games. And I'd like to start out with a huge shout out and thank you to our comrade in sumo, Brenda Velasco.
Seriously, thank you. Saved our entire whole World Games experience. I was so pissed off that, there was nothing. They told us there was going to be. They assured us there was going to be all this
They said the
coverage.
words live feed. There was no live feed.
There was the same freaking powerlifting. And it's not the powerlifting's fault. The powerlifters are fine. They're fine athletes, and I respect powerlifting, but damn it, that's not what I was looking for.
No, I got a lot of good screenshots from the powerlifters. They make the goofiest faces sometimes.
They do. But thank you, Brenda. Seriously, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a hero. And I wanted to congratulate everyone that had made it to the world stage. I've wrestled some of y'all, so I know how mighty y'all are. You impressed the hell out of me, and I was proud to see how well you represented everyone. You should all be proud of yourselves as well. All right, so I'm just going to give an abbreviated version of the winners for the men's division. In lightweight, there was Abdelrahman El Safi, controversially winning the gold, and we'll discuss that in a moment. Demid Karachenko won the silver when he lost to El Safi. Middleweight, Vaja Dayari won the gold. Heavyweight, Hiratora Hanada got the gold. He was also a college Yokozuna in 2020, and Daiki Nakamura won the silver, who was another college Yokozuna in 2021, and who is possibly going pro from what we've heard on those there internets. Mm-hmm. And for the openweight men's category, Daiki Nakamura won the gold for openweight as well.
Yeah. Then for women's lightweight, we had Yuka Okutomi, who won the gold. And then Miku Yamanaka, who won silver. She's actually been a huge proponent for women's sumo in Japan, along with Kon Hiyori, who is another competitor. For middleweight, we have Sakura Ishii, who won the gold. Heavyweight was Svetlana Yoromka. Yes. She was the one who won the gold for heavyweight. Also won bronze in the open weight competition this year. And 9 years ago at the 2013 World Games sumo competition.
Oh, yeah.
She is also a very well-medaled judoka.
Yeah, she's a badass.
If you check out her Wikipedia page, she has lots of medals listed there.
Highly
Gold,
decorated.
silver, and bronze. Then for open weight, Ivana Berezovska got the gold. Also, silver in heavyweight. Then, Little Miss Sumo herself, Kon Hiyori, got silver in the open weight battle and has also been a huge champion of women's sumo wrestlers everywhere across the world.
Yeah.
So congratulations to everyone who won in the 2022 World Games sumo competition.
Everyone who
Y'all
even
kicked ass.
Seriously, everyone that made it to Birmingham, all of the training, all of the tournaments, that was, y'all did it. Y'all are fucking mountains of people.
And now for what I'm sure everyone has been waiting for us to talk about.
Wah, wah, wah.
Backflip Gates. It's pretty much the number one thing that people have been talking about since the World Games. At least people who are running the sumo circles. So, essentially, what had happened was Abdelrahman El Sefi, who was the Egyptian competitor, won against Demid Karachenko, who was the Ukrainian competitor, in the lightweight finals, giving Egypt their first ever gold medal in sumo. El Sefi then did something a little bit surprising. This guy did a backflip while still standing in the middle of the dojo. He had previously received a warning from the judges for displaying too much exuberance after winning one of his matches. So the fact that he had already been warned and then ended up doing a backflip was, I guess for the judges, maybe it felt like kind of a bit of a, like throwing it in their faces or something.
I think it's more of, if you think of the dohyo as more of a part of a religious ceremony, it really is.
Well, in pro sumo, yeah.
Yeah, and pro sumo, yeah, but, you would still kind of treat the dohyo with that same respect. You go in, you do your chirichozu to, show that you intend to fight with honor and respect for yourself, for your opponent, and you respect that dohyo. And, for as much of Japanese culture and identity that is intrinsically a part of sumo, it's kind of, you would want to kind of act respectful because we're guests, in this culture. We're guests in this sport. And the International Sumo Federation, kind of laid out some ways that we all get to participate, which I'm definitely grateful for. But to me, I thought it was like more of like a point of respecting the sport, the dohyo, and, that kind of level of competition.
There's a lot of different opinions about that. John Gunning had an article recently in the Japan Times, which outlined, I think, the whole situation very well, and also kind of gave his own views on those sorts of standards and traditions that are part of amateur sumo that maybe, while not as strict, still can seem sort of burdensome to some, especially if it's the types of standards that you're not used to really grappling with in your own culture, no pun intended. Yeah. And even in Japan, in amateur competitions, there's definitely a lot more celebration at times when someone wins a match than there would be in Grand Sumo or Pro Sumo or Ozumo, whatever people want to call it.
Yeah.
Because, then, I mean, look at what happened to Hakuho. The few times he had even just smiled at the end of a match, they had
pumped his fist,
reprimanded him. But the fact of the matter is, El-Sefi had been warned by the judges against doing things like that. So this time, the judges decided that the unbecoming antics of the Egyptian competitor were grounds for reversing their decision and giving the win to the Ukrainian Karachenko. Which is, I didn't even know what to think about that. I mean, if you fight someone
call.
And you win, and then because of some other thing, you get your win taken away, it's kind of weird to me. And that's kind of what John Gunning had said as well in his article. But the Egyptian team coach, this is a completely related but separate issue that just kind of made the whole thing worse. So the Egyptian team coach, Abdulrahman Shalan, who is the former pro rikishi Ozuna Arashi, was visibly livid with this decision, screaming at the judges from the edge of the dohyo. Most of what he was yelling was unintelligible to those watching at home, but he could clearly be heard yelling, "It doesn't matter," several times, possibly meaning that the athlete's conduct shouldn't matter if he still won the match, or, as evidenced by the recent video that he put out discussing the incident, which we will get to in a moment, that maybe it shouldn't matter in amateur sumo as opposed to pro sumo, like we've been discussing. For whatever reason, possibly not really understanding what was going on, some of the people in the crowd started shouting for a rematch, which was another sort of bizarre element to this whole situation. So Shalan ends up being escorted out of the Boutwell Auditorium by a bunch of cops, and the judges then have a very lengthy deliberation. Everyone in the auditorium and at home who were watching live were just kind of like waiting with bated breath to see what would happen next.
It was tense.
So eventually the judges decided to give the crowd what they wanted. They decided on a rematch. So El-Sefi and Karachenko again mounted the dohyo. After a frenetic battle, the win was given initially to Karachenko, but upon examining the playback, they saw that the top of his foot had actually touched the clay before they both fell. So the decision was then reversed again, and that made El-Sefi the final winner and the gold medalist for men's lightweight sumo. After El-Sefi's win, Another member of the Ukrainian team and bronze medalist at this year's games, Sviatoslav Semikras, then mounted the dohyo himself to perform his own, rather better, backflip. After which he held up and kissed his zekin, designating him as a member of the Ukrainian team. He had actually been doing this after pretty much every win that he had gotten in the competition. It seemed really just like a sort of a patriotic sort of thing. Like, everybody knows what's going on with Ukraine. There's a lot of, feelings about that. So I understand why he would want to show his love for his country in front of an international audience. But, man, did he sure execute that backflip a lot better than Elsevier did. To put in my hot take there. Well, a few days later, the Egyptian team coach, Abdelrahman Shalan, posted a video with some of his thoughts about the day's events. He made a distinction between what he calls ozumo, meaning pro sumo, or grand sumo, the kind that's practiced in Japan, where the yokozuna is Teretsyoshi Fuji. He made a distinction between this and its more strict rules on decorum, and amateur sumo, which is more relaxed, but does still have a set of rules and standards. He emphasized that amateur sumo wrestlers celebrate after wins all the time, and that Elsevi's actions were forgivable, but he doesn't really acknowledge in the video that Elsevi had already been warned against extra conspicuous celebration by the judges earlier that day. He did acknowledge, however, that his emotions had gotten the best of him, but he excuses this by saying he's just super passionate about sumo. He then goes on to say that he apologizes if he offended any of the officials, any of the other teams, and especially his own team for getting them all banned from further participating in the sumo competition.
Yeah, they were just gone the next day. Yeah,
they got kicked out of their hotel room and everything.
They had to get a new room. It was like 5 guys in one room. Like, I don't know, man. I think that was, to me, that was like all a bit excessive, and it just escalated out of nowhere. I don't think like those types of things are really codified. I think it's just kind of dealt with on a situation by situation basis, which is kind of how the JSA does things, So I think maybe there should be some sort of codification of conduct if it's going to matter that much, especially on the international stage.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still on the fence about a lot of how that whole situation went down. I can kind of see it both ways. Like, yeah, he was warned and he did it anyway. But at the same time, like, why would that even be a rule in amateur sumo? It's not pro sumo. It's kind of its own thing. And I don't know. I think the way that the judges dealt with it just kind of made the situation worse.
I do too.
Even if you don't agree with what Elsevi did, if you don't think he should be doing backflips on the dohyo, A, I don't think it was a good call to give the other guy the win because of that. B, I don't know why they even had a rematch. And 3, I don't think it was a good idea to kick them out.
Not at all. I think it was like just over the fucking top to kick them out. I mean, There could have been some sort of formal warning. There could have been some sort of like, look, we're going to set a precedent here and say, hey, we don't do this way. There can be something done to put it concrete in stone. It's like, all right, you act like this, you get disqualified. And I just think that it was handled in a very knee-jerk way. And I don't know, man. One of the things, seeing Ozuna Arashi and how upset he was, and shit, I'm a big, brown, passionate guy.
Just like him.
Yeah, and whenever I get upset, or whenever I get, even when I'm having a really good time, some people find it scary that I'm just big, brown, and exuberant.
Yeah.
And so I really felt him on that. Because I know what it's like to just kind of have people just be afraid of you for just being you, so I feel him on that one. Everything else, I'm kind of, I still don't really know what to think about it because I'm still kind of chewing on it. I'm still thinking about how I even feel about the lack of codified conduct, I guess, in amateur sumo, and how I feel about the whole kind of like knee-jerk response. I mean, I do understand wanting to show the Japanese culture respect, especially since there is so much of Japanese identity that is intrinsically part of sumo. And as a sumo tori myself, I do want to show that respect. I do want to, heed those cultural notions that I am grateful for the sport. I'm grateful that I get to participate in it. And I'm very thankful that, the Japanese people had let the rest
shared
of us
this with the rest of the world. Yeah.
Exactly. It just made an incredible difference in my life, and I'm really fucking glad to be a part of sumo. But as a sumo community, maybe we do need to come up with a set of conduct. I mean, if that's going to be a thing, let's talk about that. Let's get that out in the open and see what could be done about it.
I don't think that there was really anyone in that whole situation that was 100% wrong or 100% right. But at least it's opened up a dialogue about this stuff, and moving forward, hopefully we can see a bit more clearly about what the standards are and what is expected from everyone.
Yeah, and, that's what we do in sumo. We move forward and we gambarize.
Yeah! Gambare! But another unfortunate side effect of that was that it did kind of take away focus from the winners of the competition and all of the awesome people who participated and really got themselves out there and did the thing. So I just want to once again congratulate all of our medalists, congratulate everyone who made it to the World Games to compete. You guys are fucking awesome. You're my heroes. Let's talk about the Nagoya Basho.
Nagoya! All right.
So, as I may have mentioned before, we're doing a bit of a different format with this. We're going to do it in 5-day chunks. So now we're going to discuss days 1 through 5 of the Nagoya Basho. And we've got some pretty interesting things to discuss here, too.
Yeah. All right. So we asked you guys who you wanted us to follow during the Basho, and we got some answers. Tim Sumo requested Wakamoto Haru. Sam Stern wanted Hoshoryu.
Of course we're going to follow Hoshoryu.
Haas. Sumo Till Foket requested Ichonojo.
He's doing really well in this Basho.
Yeah. Takagaijin said Wakatakakage.
Of course we're going to follow Wakatakakage. Come on.
And In Sacred Skies said that we follow most of their favorites anyway, but they said you could deal with a little bit of extra sprinkle of Knob Dog.
What the fuck?
Knob Dog.
What is a knob dog?
I don't know. Is that like Up Dog?
I'm not falling for that again.
But there
Knob
was
dog?
there was a gif of Takanosho in there, so I mean,
Oh.
Well, he's in there too.
Is that their nickname for Takanosho? Kind of
Knob
like
dog.
you call Shimanoumi sideburns and fucking.
Well, in Sacred Skies, you'll have to clarify.
It's fine. Maybe we'll end up hitting that one anyway. All right. What do we got for day 1?
Day 1. Myogeru versus Takana Fuji. Gyoji called it for Takana Fuji, but after a monowi, it was discovered that Takana Fuji hit the ground first while Myogeru was still in the air, so it was reversed and given to Myogeru. However, Kotoweko versus Chiyotaru. Chiyotaru pulls down Kotoweko, but the Gyoji declared Kotoweko the winner. It appears that the exact same situation that happened with Myogeru and Takana Fuji happens here. Kotoweko's hand is clearly shown touching the ground while Chiyotaru is still in the air. A monowi is then called, which resulted in a tori naoshi, where Kotoweko prevailed with an oshidashi. But why did they decide on a rematch for them, but not the previous match? Especially when the replay clearly shows who was touching the ground first? Are they just not watching the replays anymore? Is this favoritism?
You know, in the last Basho, there was some issue where I guess one of the Oyakatas had said that they shouldn't be looking at the replays, and so they weren't looking at them for a few matches, and then that caused a bunch of chaos.
It caused a lot of chaos.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird how they did that with Kotoweko and Chiyotaru when the previous match between Myogeru and Takara Fuji was literally the exact same situation. If you watch both replays back to back, they are very similar, but they decided on a Tori Naoshi. Another rematch for no reason. Everybody's just just all about rematches all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's a rematch. We're just going to have to randomly throw rematches into everything.
Nice.
Right.
I'm going to do that to you in the bedroom next time.
Rematch me!
Moving forward, Tochinoshin easily slaps down Hokuto Fuji. He slam dunked his ass. Yet more questionable calls with Toby Zaru versus Okonoumi. Toby Zaru totally looked like he slapped the ground before Okonoumi bit it on the clay. But
Didn't that happen in the last boss show with, I want to say it was Wakataka Kage?
I think it was, it was Wakataka Kage. Totally looked like he just like slapped the
like
dust.
his fingertips, there was like a
Yeah.
little dust cloud and everything. But in this one, it was Okonomi's, what are those little dangly things?
The Sagari.
Sagari? Yeah, his Sagari was on the ground. It had been pulled out from his mawashi, and it visibly moves when you see Toby Zaru's hand like brush by that area. So
Yeah.
it really looked to me like he touched the fucking ground.
But you know, whenever you like wave your hand in front of a candle flame and it kind of flickers, you know, who knows?
I think his hand would have to be moving exceedingly fast in order to make the danglies move like that.
All right,
But
we're
anyway.
just going to have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Aoyama did a sprightly dance where he delicately balanced on the Tawara while slapping down Sadonoumi, and it looked like his toes may have kissed the sand outside the ring just a bit.
I don't think it looked like he touched outside the ring at all. I think he did some really good footwork in that
was very
match.
deft
The way
footwork.
that he twisted his foot kind of sideways to
Yeah.
stay on the Tawara while
That was
Sadonoumi
very-
was falling out, I think that was really good.
Like a
I wish
mountain
I
goat.
could be that like agile.
Wakamoto Haru versus Endo. Endo's strong and consistent Supari prevented Wakamoto Haru from grabbing a belt and thrusted his ass into oblivion. Haas versus Ura. Haas has that sock on, that injured foot sock.
Oh yeah.
So poor Hoshoryu. Ura, always low and extended forward, was easy to pull down, and Hoshoryu made it look really fucking easy.
So I guess the sock didn't really hold him back, did it?
Well, not this time. God fucking damn it. Tamawashi
Oh, no.
is always beating my guys. Daisho was charging forward with his piston attack, but Tamawashi's ass just slapped him down with the quickness. Wakataka Kage shows up in his gaudy ass platinum mawashi. All of his lucky ball and ass funk hasn't permeated this one, so the mighty Ichinojo applied an iron grip right off the Tachiai, and Wakataka Kage was driven out by brute force.
Yeah, you know, it must be the Mawashi change because he's kind of not.
He's a little flubby.
He's not doing as well this time.
know. Kotonowaka versus Shodai. The Ozeki Slayer faces off with a nervy-looking Shodai. That mata must have shook him up a bit. Kotonowaka thrusted Shodai out, took his lunch money, and laughed about it. Takanosho versus Matakayumi. Matakayumi's shoulder is still fucked. Oh, and we also heard that as of today, what is Friday, July 15th?
Technically.
Dewana Umi Beya is out of the tournament because of positive coronavirus infections.
Yeah, the whole stable.
So they pulled Matakayumi out. So we're recording this right before Day 7's might be happening right now. But yeah. Anyway, so Matakayumi's shoulder was still fucked. Takanosho goes for a slapdown where Matakayumi totally landed first, but Takanosho got the win. Takakesha versus Kiribayama. Fucking slugfest.
Yeah.
Kiribayama neutralized Takakesho's charge, then Morizashi Takakesha right out the ring. Abi looks stoned as hell in his fight card photo. I don't know why. I mean, is he just trying to look stoic? Is he just trying? I don't know.
He's just trying to look cool.
But Terano Fuji looks ready to fuck. So Abi's stoned ass was only saved by his footwork and Terano Fuji overshooting his attack. He was able to get behind the behemoth Terano Fuji and shove him out. So way to go, stoned Abi.
That was actually a pretty good
That
match.
was really fucking cool. I was standing up. I was screaming at the TV.
You know what? Abi's footwork has gotten a lot better lately, too, I've noticed. He's kind of starting to realize that everybody else has figured him out, and so he's picking up some more skills. He's not just, spamming the Supari anymore. He still uses it a lot, and he loves his Notawas. The boy just,
does.
he loves them. He loves his Notawas.
And he hates necks.
And he hates necks, yes. But I could see he's diversifying. He's getting a bit better.
Day 2. Nishiki Fuji starts strong but gets spanked by Hidenoumi, visiting from Juryo. Poor Dayamami withdrew because of his ankle, which gives Mr. Sumo Chiyomaru an easy win. Takana Fuji fought hard for a win over Ichi Yamamoto, but Ichi pulled out the win by Kubi Hineri, a head-twisting throw. Monoi was called for possible hair pull, but there was none. Koto Shoho versus Teretsyoshi. Teretsyoshi starts low, goes for the throw, but gets his meat flopped by Koto Shoho, and that was a flop. Midori Fuji uses speed and agility to counter the powerful Myogeru and ends up moshing him out with the quickness.
Oh my god, I saw that picture of Midori Fuji recently.
With his hair down.
I don't know what it is about boys with long hair.
She's added another to her harem.
Shut up.
Her list of boyfriends.
Shut up.
Chiyo Tairu ruined Sideburns' birthday by whooping his ass, so sorry Shimano Umi. Nishikigi swats down Kotoweko like a buzzing fly. Kotoweko was just kind of hunching and driving, but Nishikigi just scooped him down. Aoyama's sumo seems to have gotten better since he got his Japanese citizenship.
Oh, yeah.
He made quick work of Endo and thrusted his ass out. It must have been like, the whole process of citizenship must have just been kind of weighing heavily on his mind. And
yeah, like maybe because of the anxiety of that, he wasn't doing as well. But since then,
like here
he's
recently,
been doing so much better. The last couple of Bashos, I actually thought for a while maybe he was on his way out, but he just kind of started making this comeback out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's like making himself known, just smacking his shit out of people.
Good job, titties.
Hell yeah. Wakamoto Haru versus Sadonoumi. Wakamoto Haru is looking better on day 2. He overwhelmed poor Sadonoumi and won quickly and decisively. Uda sidestepped at the Tachiai and Abi shot his load too quick. Uda Billy goated his ass out while Abi was trying to get his bearings. And then that cursed Platinum Mawashi caused Tamawashi to beat Wakataka Kage by Slippy Otoshi. Had to borrow that one from Kintamiyama. But that's what happened.
Slippy Otoshi.
Slippy Otoshi.
I had actually heard just today that because of the humidity there in Nagoya, and of course it being the middle of summer, that doyo is more slippery than a doyo would normally be. So I guess it causes a lot more slippage.
All that moisture in the air, all of that sweat dripping down. And they water it too, to keep it.
Oh, and you could definitely tell that those boys have been very sweaty there in Nagoya.
Right after there was a particular victory where one of the rikishi was interviewed and was just pouring sweat, out of breath, just like,
Why do you guys always gotta try to interview me right after the match? God damn it.
All of them. I just had to do my style of sumo.
It's like you can't give him like an extra 10 minutes or something.
Right? Well, Ichonojo absorbs all of Daisho's initial attack and just completely dominates the Sekewake. Hoshoryu loses his balance and gets thrown down by Takakesha. There have been slippery doyos all over the place in the whole global sumo sphere.
Yeah, that's true, because at the World Games, that was a big problem as well.
It was the first time a lot of the American competitors had even seen a clay doyo, so
that's true. Yeah, a lot of the sumo clubs in the US, they just it's just a couple of people just kind of doing it as a hobby, and they can't afford to really get a proper doyo or to build a proper doyo or get one of the federation legal ones or whatever. So
I was listening to the Grand Sumo Breakdown interview with Brenda Velasco today, and they were saying, come on, Sumo Federation, let's build some clay dojos.
Yeah, totally. Well, at the same time, too, it kind of looked like the doyo there at the World Games was a bit different than
it kind of had a wooden
Grand
frame.
Sumo doyos.
Yeah.
And it had a lot more loose sand on the top, I noticed.
Yeah, but that's, it's supposed to have sand to make sure that if someone's dangling on the tawara, it'll leave a little indention in the sand.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking real loose.
Yeah.
A lot of the competitors I noticed were kicking some of the sand aside before they started their match, and I don't know, slippery doyos, man.
Takanosho throttled Shodai's neck and pushed his ass out for the 5th time in a row.
Oh, Shodai. Come on. You're already caught up on again.
Kotonowaka is still in his Ozeki slaying streak. Matakayumi started strong and held his own with an Otsuke, but that injured shoulder made him easy for Kotonowaka to dominate.
Yeah.
Terano Fuji and Kiribayama was pretty damn exciting.
Yeah.
Both dudes shuffled around the ring deftly while pummeling each other's defenses. As soon as Terano Fuji grabbed that belt, it was over. Poor Kiribayama lost that one.
Day 3?
Day 3. Nishiki Fuji was pissed.
Yeah.
He put everything he was made out of into that fight with Oho. He just kept attacking until he wore down poor Oho and finally pushed him over the bales. Takana Fuji was sick of losing, so he thrusted down Tsurugisho with the strength of frustration. Quick victory taken in a snap of the fingers. Ichi Yamamoto slapped around Teretsyoshi, who may have been trying a foot sweep, but hauled off with the damn soccer kick that hit absolutely nothing. Ichi Yamamoto thrusted Teretsyoshi out so hard, he had to run down the Hanamichi to try and catch his balance, like almost all the way to the backstage area.
That's one of the awards as well. That's
With the longest Hanamichi run?
Yeah. That's going to be one of the awards for sure.
Midori Fuji versus Chiyoshoma was a long and strenuous affair. It could have been a Tori Naoshi, and I wouldn't have been surprised, but it was called for Sumo's own pitbull, Midori Fuji. Meisei fucking dominated Kotoweko at the Tachiai, but Kotoweko went for some kind of leg hook that luckily knocked Meisei off balance, and Kotoweko was able to win by Uwatanage. Tochinoshin knocked the sideburns off of Shimano Umi with the slapdown for his second win of the tournament. Ichonojo uses his otherworldly strength to prevent Hoshoryu from getting a belt grip and drove Haas right out the ring by his damn neck.
Oh, that was that one that you got that screenshot that you said looked almost tender.
It did. It looked very tender.
Kind of gave me feelings.
I know what kind of feelings it gave you.
Shut up.
Wakamoto Haru overextended an attack when he had Daisho at the bales and fell to the clay before Daisho was pushed out. He almost hurt him. Not Daisho's best win, but still a win.
Still a win.
Wakataka Kage versus Ura. Wakataka Kage fought through the shitty luck of that gaudy-ass Platinum Mawashi and managed to defeat Ura by Oshitaoshi. Good old-fashioned Abizumo knocks out Matakayumi with ease.
Oh, yeah.
That shoulder's giving him some trouble. Takakesha versus Kotonowaka. Taka T-Rex slaps the fight out of Kotonowaka, like slaps the shit out of him. Like that could be heard like echoing throughout the fucking ether.
That was brutal.
And that put an end to his winning streak and his Ozeki killing streak. I swear, you could hear the smack through the entire prefecture.
God, that was...
It was brutal.
Hard to watch, even.
Kiribayama versus Shodai. Kiribayama knows how to work odd angles. Shodai put up a damn good fight, but Kiri got behind him and pushed him out from behind.
Come on, Shodai.
Takanosho managed to beat Terano Fuji during the Meiba show, but not this time. He put up a damn good fight. Terano Fuji displayed his beastly and frightening power by slamming down Takanosho as he attempted to throw the Yokozuna. Instead, he was slammed down like a squishy piece of mochi on New Year's. Day 4. Myogeru soundly thrashed Nishiki Fuji during their first meeting. Poor Nishiki Fuji tried to pull a rampaging Myogeru, which resulted in Nishiki Fuji flying off the dohyo. Yutakayama beat Tsurugisho in the blink of an eye with an Uwata Dashinage. He kind of had to step over a stunned Tsurugisho who was trying to figure out what the hell even happened. Oho got sick of Chiyoshoma's crap after a lengthy bout and crushed his ass out. Try to hink of that shit. Chiyotairu went bowling for Oyakatas and hurled Takana Fuji into his own stable master, Isegahama Oyakata. Strike!
Yes, he's definitely on the list of potential winners for the Crowd Crashing Award.
Kotoweko versus Midori Fuji was a nail-biter. The aggressive pit bull Midori Fuji went back and forth in a clinch with Kotoweko, but eventually tossed him out like a muscled-up chamber pot. Midori Fuji with the Shitatsunage win.
What?
A muscled-up chamber pot.
What the fuck?
Hey, if I only had like 1 or 2 sentences to write what happened instead of going deep into detail, I'm gonna come up with some shit.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
Aoyama's trusty pull-down technique backfired, and Nishikigi managed to stay airborne long enough for Aoyama to step out. He kind of floated. It was weird. Speaking of being airborne, the flying monkey, Toby Zaru, used his wily tricks to fell Tochinoshin with a Totari armbar throw. Sadonoumi dealt Tamawashi his first loss on day 4, earning his first win in the process. He put his whole body into that final push. Wakamoto Haru got tossed the fuck out by Ura with an Okuradashi rear push out. Ura swung him around by his arm and made quick work of him. The curse of the Platinum Mawashi strikes again.
Oh no.
As Abi throttles Wakataka Kage and thrusts his ass off the doyo, Daisho does a deadly dance with Takanosho and spins him down to the clay to take a Hitakakomi victory. Shodai pours his entire being into his fight with Hoshoryu and scores his first win.
Fucking finally.
It was an intense chess match that resulted in Haas getting checkmated and slammed to the clay. Mataki Yumi slammed down Kiribayama with the Tsukiotoshi thrust down. Nuff said. Ichonojo has been on fire this Basho. He had time to take some good rest and made quick work of Takakesha, securing a belt grip and grinding him out. There was a monoe to see if Ichonojo had pulled Taka T-Rex's top knot, but he did not.
You know, the way that Ichonojo has been performing in this Basho really just proves that if you just take some time to rest, it could do you a world of good.
Certainly.
Take care of yourself. Self-care.
Yeah. Kotonowaka was trying to get too big for his britches, only to have Terano Fuji Tatari armbar throw his ass down. Not today, young man. Not today.
Not today, Satan. Sorry.
Day 5. It was cool to see Oho seize control of his bout with Onosho, and he made that win look easy. Chiyoshoma slapped the hell out of Ichi Yamamoto and then slapped down his undefeated streak, giving him his first loss. Koto Shoho would not go quietly into the night and kept his toes on the inside of the Tawara. With nowhere to go, he just got pancaked by Takana Fuji. Midori Fuji absolutely mauled Chiyotairu. It was beautiful.
He is just like a little pit bull.
He's just mean.
Do it. Do the thing.
Tochinoshin and Nishikigi clashed in a powerful struggle, with Tochi delivering a fatal blow to Nishikigi's undefeated record. Hokuto Fuji plowed through Kotoweko. Literally, that was the match. Toby Zaru's flying monkey style of sumo managed to throw the mighty Aoyama. Kotonowaka blew through Endo like a fart in a wind. Poor Takanosho. Kiribayama beat him for the first time. Takanosho had beaten him 8 times prior while they were in Makuuchi, and Kiribayama scored an Owata Dashinage victory. Daisho and Abi had to see who was the better thruster. Daisho withstood all of Abi's attacks and then just demolished him. Wakataka Kage scored his second win against an injured Hoshoryu, so I guess the sock injury thing is making itself known. Takakesha made scrap metal out of the Iron Man of Sumo, Tamawashi. Wakamoto Haru faced his first Ozeki opponent, Shodai. Shodai gave him a good fight, a damn good fight, but Wakamoto Haru won his first Ozeki battle.
You know, if it's the first Ozeki you go up against, even though Shodai is my guy, I gotta say, you're lucky if it's Shodai. You've got a chance at least.
Well, if his nerves are getting him.
Yeah.
Ura stayed low and worked to stand Mataki Yumi upright while he defended with all he had, but Ura twisted down with a Totari armbar throw and slayed Mataki Yumi. Oh, damn.
What?
Oh, shit.
What is it?
Ichonojo and Terano Fuji
Ooh, I remember this one.
clashed with a thunderous impact. Terano Fuji had Ichinojo's arms clenched, but it mattered not. Ichinojo's grip on the mawashi allowed him to grind Terano Fuji out of the ring. Another Kinboshi for Ichinojo, and the first time he's bested Terano Fuji in a long-ass time.
Yeah, didn't they say it was like 2016 or something like
2016? Yeah, so I think it might have
that?
been...
The last time he beat Terano Fuji?
Yeah.
Damn, see, like I said, just a little bit of rest, and he comes back fucking just plowing through everyone.
So, as of right now, the leaderboard.
Ichinojo is now the sole Makuuchi leader after day 5, followed very closely by Toby Zaru, Nishikigi, Midori Fuji, and Ichi Yamamoto, who all have 4 wins and 1 loss. And then we have the bottoms. They are Tsurugisho, Teretsyoshi, Shimanoumi, Sadonoumi, Takanojo, Hoshoryu, and Shodai, all with 1 win and 4 losses. Will they be able to avoid Makekoshi?
Dun, dun, dun.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Next episode is going to be days 6 through 10. And by then, I'm pretty sure we'll know a lot of the different rikishi who have made their Makekoshis or Kachikoshis. I do also want to mention that Dayamami had made it back up to Makuuchi, only to get injured and pull out on day 2. But I hear he may be back later. You're just going to have to listen to the next episode to find out. Or, watch it on YouTube, whichever is more convenient for you. Listen to us anyway. Do both. Why not?
Why not? And before we completely check out with Grand Sumo, I wanted to check in on my Juryo boys.
The Juryo boys.
I'm convinced that since I hadn't been paying attention to them as intensely as I had last Basho, that they're not doing so hot.
Oh, how's our boy Atami Fuji doing?
Atami Fuji is at Juryo 6, currently at the end of day 5 with a score of 2 and 3.
Ooh.
Enho at Juryo 8 has the exact same score at the end of day 5 of 2 and 3.
Enho!
Do better, boys! Come on, chubby cheeks! Come on, Enho!
I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you!
Oh no, Enho and his fight with Aqua was pretty fucking spectacular. And Aqua, Aqua is at 0 and 5. But whenever Enho and Aqua had their matchup, Aqua tried to show Enho his kakenage. But then Enho just
I love it when you say it like that.
Enho just lifted him up by his leg. Like, seriously, it's almost like he had him balanced, like his toes balanced in the palm of his hand, just lifted him up and just kind of threw him out.
I did see that, actually.
That was pretty badass.
That was pretty badass.
So
now
come
if
on,
he can
Enho.
only do that in all of his matches.
Do it some more. Do it to Shrek. Old Yago.
Oh, Yago.
Okay, well, that is the end of days 1 through 5, our Basho coverage, and we are going to continue probably at the end of day 10.
All right. Now it's the part of the show where you tell me what kind of beats you've been dropping on the doyo.
All right, whenever I've been training sumo, I've been trying to work on my explosiveness, and I've been trying to get something a little bit more high energy, so I found the perfect fucking slab of wax. It's 17 minutes long. It's by a band from South Korea called Slant, and the name of the album is, it's like a numeral 1, and then the Korean character for the word G, house, I guess. It translates as one house. But it's on Iron Lung Records out of Seattle, Washington. This record, 17 minutes long. It's got this, like, really small, skinny woman that just screams her fucking guts out. Like, her voice sounds like it's shredded with razor blades. It's just such a fucking mean voice. Fast hardcore. I fucking love fast hardcore. And this pumps up the intensity to 11. It's just high energy, high intensity. It never lets up for a fucking second, all 17 minutes of it. It's on digital download on Iron Lungs Bandcamp. You can find it on YouTube even in its entirety. Seriously, throw it on. Turn your fucking stereo the fuck up, or turn your headphones on as loud as they'll go, and just stomp around. Try not to stomp around. Just fucking swing your fucking limbs around. It seriously is some of the, like, fastest, bestest hardcore that I've heard in, like, the past 2 or 3 years. And I wanted to bring some attention to somebody that has gone through some shit here lately. A buddy of mine was at work, and had come into contact with some electrical lines and had electrocuted the everlasting crap out of himself and got third-degree burns. Been in the hospital for the last few days, and today had his final surgery, so he's going to get to go home. But there are still a couple of more surgeries in the future. So we're going to put a link for his GoFundMe in the description. We're also going to put his wife's shop, Eternal War Design. So if you're into really hardcore, like, battle axe earrings or, you know, really elven looking necklaces and stuff like that, lots of really cool stuff. It's like I want it.
If you live at the intersection of punk rock and Vikingism, then you'd probably be into this stuff.
Definitely. So we're going to put the link to the GoFundMe in the description, and also the URL for Eternal War Designs if you wanted to take a look at, you know, the type of jewelry that they have to offer. Really cool folks, really awesome people, and they really could use some help because medical bills in the U.S. are no fucking joke.
True. All right. Well, I think that's our show. You know where to find us. We're all over them social meds as Sumo Punx. Unless you're going to Twitter, then we are Punx Sumo. And of course, Punx is always spelled with an X. Feel free to check out our Redbubble shop. And you can email us with any questions, comments, or weird pictures of your grandmother's bowel movements at sumopunx@gmail.com. And until next time,
Bye.